Hello, everybody. This is Greg29407 back with another episode of City of Heroes. We are here in Founders Falls with a brand new tanker of mine. His name is Franken-Slacker. And yes, we did a tanker in our last episode. And this one is a shield defense and electric tanker, so he's very different. Phesees, of course, was radiation armor, which we've done before, and war mace. And so this guy plays very differently. Same basic idea of being a tank, of course, but different techniques and things. I thought it'd be a nice change of pace and show how different tankers can be used differently. Um, we are in the middle of a Halloween event, even though this is the end of May. I see some zombies down there trying to come up and jump on us. But I thought what we do is go over all those power sets, everything we have in here, and then I go from there. I'm level 40. I am on the Unity server right now, not Thunder Spy. The Unity server is another one of the small servers that's come out. Of course, Homecoming is the big one, and then we've been doing a lot of episodes recently on Thunder Spy. Unity is I think is fairly new, and it plays on the same engine as the Homecoming server. So the good news is they have things like Sentinels, which I love. The bad news is they don't have some of the really wild and crazy builds that Thunder Spy had, like the Psychokinetic for the Dominators and wind power and things like that. So every one of these servers has its own pluses and minuses. One of the things that Unity server is really trying to push is that when you come into the Unity server, you will get a free level 50 character. So all you do is once you create your character, it can be a level 1, all you do is go into their Discord and request a boost to level 50, and they will give you a level 50. They'll rank them right up to level 50. I haven't done that yet because I figure this is a tanker, so it should be fairly easy to level up. I'm going to wait on until I do like some kind of crazy build that's really hard to level up and choose that. The other good thing about the Unity server is the speed at which you level up is 6 times faster than normal. 6 times faster. So I haven't done that many missions on this character, although I'm level 40. Excuse me. 2 days ago I was level 27, and I got on a level 50 team with some other players, and it was tough. I mean, I was getting killed a lot. But I leveled up like 12 times, so that was really helpful. In about an hour and a half or so. So the other good thing, well, I'll start off with one of the bad things. One of the bad things is because it is a smaller server, the auction house is not as well populated as the one is on Homecoming. Homecoming, you can make lots of money really easily. Here it's tougher to do that. They have seeded everything, so you can buy your things fairly cheap. Excuse me. But there aren't a lot of players on the server. So what you can do is when you want to get your enhancements in here, notice I have all the IOs and everything is up to level 40 because I'm at level 40. What you can do, though, let's say that you didn't have anything slotted in here. Let's say there's all empty. What you do is you go in here and you type in /auto enhance IO, enter. And then all you do is click on here, and you would see all of your slots filled up with an appropriate power in each one. And it'll be for the nearest 5. So when I was level 39, all these were level 35s. I turned 40, they all would be level 40s. And it's free. Now, it does some oddball stuff and some interesting things. So, for instance, Havoc Punch and Jacob's Ladder, they put in endurance modification because these are also a chain induction. These are electric powers. They do some drain, so they're sliding me up for that. They put in a stun duration on Thunderstrike. They do go with the 2 accuracies, which I do enjoy. I appreciate that quite a bit. They do also a couple of endurances, though, and so I did change a couple of them. Oh, I didn't change these. Yeah, I wanted to go ahead and change this to another resistance, another defense. I don't need 2 and 2. So, but it's a really nice way of getting things started, and that way you're not sitting there, with all these powers, but all the slots empty. That's very irritating. So this is really cool. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and go through all of his powers. And this was a character I had originally created on live many years ago. I think I only got him up to level 30 or so. He was a fine character. I just had a bunch of other characters and kind of put him to the side. This time he's the only character I have on Unity, so I'm playing him quite a bit. So shield defense. Shield defense is going to be a lot of defense. It also has some resistance as well, but it's a mixture of defense, resistance, and healing, kind of like willpower is. So our first power in here is deflection, and it's going to give us defense from melee attacks, and then resistance to lethal and smashing. Now, I'm pretty sure we've gone over this before. With defenses, you have your 3 positional defenses: melee, range, and AoE, and then you have your 8 type defenses, which is the smashing and the lethal and the cold and the fire and all those things. It's much easier to cap positional defenses. There's only 3 of them, and so shield defense focuses on the positional defenses. So we are going to get some defense for melee and then some resistance as well. And I think as I showed you, you may have noticed this. Eagle Eyes may have noticed. I've got the slot for 2 resistance, 2 defense, and then 1 endurance, and I'm going to get another resistance on here, I think. Okay, so that's a good one. That's one we're going to take right away. Next one is battle agility. This time we're going to get defense from the other 2 positional defenses, range and AoE, and we're also going to get resistance from defense debuff, which is very nice. So that way, when we go against our enemies, they're not all of a sudden our defenses aren't going to be dropped down to the floor. Although it does seem to happen anyway. Yeah, why is that? That's in there, but that was happening to me yesterday. Maybe they were able to overcome it somehow. I don't know. True Grit. This is an auto power, so it won't show up on your power bar. This is going to give me resistance to cold, fire, energy, and negative energy, and toxic. So between this and deflection, we're going to have some resistance to everything except for psionic. It's also going to maximize our health. So our health is going to go up somewhat, which is really nice. Next is going to be active defense. And now this is where I have an issue with this particular primary for a tanker. This gives us defense against all of our, or gives us resistance against all of the mez type things: stuns, holds, immobilize, sleep, fear, confuse, repel, knockback, defense debuff. So it's going to give us all those things, which is great. In fact, you always want these things on your melee characters. I'd like to have them on any of my characters, on a tank especially. But this is a click button. It's right here. It's not a toggle. It's a click. So this thing is, you click on it and you'll have resistance to all those things, and then the power runs out and you better click it again or else you're going to be flat on your back. Right now I have this so that it is perma. I can make this is perma. So it lasts for 2 minutes, and right now I think it recharges in 1:55. I've got 2 recharges in there at level 40. Now, here's the thing. You can make it permanent, and you can actually just make this so it automatically goes off, which is great. The problem is I'm a tank, and as a tank, it's important for me to have Brawl on perma so that it's always clicking, because as a tank, I'm using Gauntlet as my primary case for taunting enemies. So every time I hit someone with Brawl, it puts out an AoE taunt effect, so it keeps all the enemies on me and away from my teammates. So it's a very useful power to have this on auto. I can't have both on auto. So what happens is, well, I just have to remember to click on this as soon as it lights up again. Well, I don't remember to do that very often. So what happens is I find myself getting knocked flat on my back and go, oh yeah, I better click on my button. So that's what happens. Every power set has a hole in it. This is kind of the hole on shield defense. You got this thing you got to click, keep your eye on all the time. So that's just the way that goes. Next we have a toggle against all odds. This is going to boost our damage and is going to decrease our enemy's damage a little bit. This is a really good 1-slot power. You put in 1 endurance reduction and you're pretty much done. You don't need to do anything else with it. Next is Phalanx Fighting, and this is another auto power, and this is going to give us some defense against melee, range, and AoE. And again, it's going to be one slot powered. It does a little bit, not a huge amount. Next is Grant Cover. Grant Cover is, again, another one-shot wonder. We got 3 of them in a row here, which is nice. We can put our slots in other powers. Again, it's going to be a one slot of endurance. This helps our team as a PBAOE, and it helps our team by giving them defense to everything but psionic. It doesn't give us anything, though. We get nothing out of it, except for the fact that we do get resistance from defense debuffs and from recharge debuffs, which is pretty helpful. So that's why it's useful to take it for us. Everything else, the other defenses, we don't get at all. Next, we have Shield Charge, and this is our one and only attack power that we get in the shield attacks. It's PBAOE, and it does superior damage, and it's smashing, and it does knockdown, and it's really cool. It's a lot like when we were doing our my Savage Brute, and he had the Savage Leap, which kind of teleported him into the middle of the enemies. That's what this does. Shield Charge, he holds his shield up, which in this case is a manhole cover, and he races into a group of enemies. He kind of teleports in there and does massive amounts of damage. It's really, really good, and it's a great way to start off a battle. So it's really useful. And then finally we have one with the shield. This is, I didn't take this one. This is one of these powers you click on, and for a short amount of time it gives you massive resistance to stun and sleep and hold and mobilize and all these things, and it gives you plus recovery and plus maximum hit points, and it boosts you up. It's like a big plus. But then when it wears off, you get worn out really fast. It's not like a slight decrease in things for 10 seconds like we've done on other powers. In this power set, it's a big decrease. So I didn't bother taking that. Shield defense is considered a really, really good one. A lot of people swear by it. I know that I've got a shield scrapper on Homecoming, which I almost had ready to show on the video before Homecoming said, "Oh, you can't do any more videos from our server anymore." And it's really useful. It's really helpful in that. And so this is a pretty good set, and I've really enjoyed it so far. For electrical melee, we have a whole series of these electrical attacks, and electrical attacks have the added bonus of doing some endurance drain from enemies. And I know some people try to make a draining character where your whole defense is you're going to drain your enemies of all their endurance. It's not a great strategy to go with for that, because you can drain enemies, and you'll see that with those endurance modifications, we're draining our enemies of having nothing for endurance. The problem is, as soon as the NPC enemies in this game get one endurance point, just one, they can do full-scale attacks. You and I can't, but they can. So, and as soon as you drain them, they start to gain their points immediately. So you can never truly be, really safe. So they have one endurance point, but they can still hit you with their biggest attack power. So it's nice to see it drain. It will slow them down in terms of being able to attack. They can attack with one. They have to wait for the one point to come back. But it's not a great strategy for being your main way of doing things. It's just, I look at it as being kind of an added bonus. It's draining them out, and it may slow them. They may instead of doing 5 attacks in 10 seconds, they may do 2 or 3. So it's helpful. So our first attack, which you get level 1, is Charge Brawl. It's minor damage, smashing and energy. It says target can go to sleep. I've never seen that. I don't know. It decreases endurance. Again, it does a little bit of drain, and decreases their resistance a little bit as well. And so I had that, I think, just 2 slotted. I might slot some more for endurance modification, just so it does a little bit more, because I use that as an extra power. If these are used up right now, I'll go ahead and hit them with that just to soften up a little bit, take the little tiny sliver at the end of someone's life. Next is a Havoc Punch. This does moderate damage, smashing energy, and again, minus endurance. Jacob's Ladder is a cone, and does high damage. I know a lot of people don't like cones. I like cones, but I have to say this is probably the weakest cone I've ever seen. When I say weak, I mean in terms of being really narrow. I like cones. The power itself does some decent damage, but if you get anything other than the main person you're attacking, you're really lucky. It's very rare you're going to get a second person in there. And what he does is he puts his two arms out in front of him and zaps the person or people in front, but it's a really short range, and every once in a while I'll hit a second person with it, but not very much. So I consider this kind of a single target. It's a really narrow cone. Then we have our taunt, which of course we want to take right away. Thunder Strike is AoE damage, high damage, in fact, smashing energy. It does stun and knockback. It's really kind of knocked down unless they're much lower level than you, then they'll go flying. And again, it does minus endurance. This is a great power. It does everything in a cone around you. It's very small AoE though. It doesn't extend out very far, so you got to be right up. They got to be right up in your face. Good thing is with a tanker, we're generally trying to pull everyone as close to us as possible. So sometimes you get everyone surrounding you. Sometimes only some of them around you because someone was like a foot away. So but it's a really good power. Next is a build up, which we haven't taken yet. I had too many other good powers. I'm taking that in a couple levels. Then we have chain induction. Chain induction, it does moderate damage, smashing energy, and what happens is you hit the person you're aiming at, and then it can chain to other enemies. So it does kind of like change to the next person. Sometimes it goes to the person after that and the person after that. So you can hit several people in a chain. Basically, it's one after another after another. Sometimes the chain ends, sometimes it doesn't, but it's actually really good. It's a nice power to have. I've got it over here with my little stretch of powers that affect more than one, so that's really nice. Next is Lightning Clap. It's PBLE. It does stun and knockback. I didn't take this one. It doesn't do any damage, and we just need to do damage. We're tanker, so our damage isn't very strong. I've got some other stun stuff I can do and knockdowns and stuff, so I thought this was a little superfluous. And then finally, the big power of this power set is Lightning Rod. And Lightning Rod is right over here. Lightning Rod does some massive damage, superior PBAOE, superior damage, energy, knockback, really knockdown. And what happens is we just kind of hold this rod up there and just zap everybody. And it does a massive amounts of damage. So I've got that right over here. So I've got a couple of powers, well, 2.5 powers, I guess, including Jacob's Ladder, that are single target. And then I've got this chain. I've got Thunderstrike, which is AoE. I've got Lightning Rod, which is big AoE. And then I've got my Shield Charge, which is run into a group in PBAOE. So I've got a lot of really good damage on these enemies. And now, of course, as a tank, I'm also going to be taking other power sets, such as I'm taking the fighting power set. Show you that. Yeah, boxing, tough, and weave. Again, I need to change these slots out. I don't need 2 endurance on that. And I'm for my epic, I'm going to be taking I never remember they always change the names for these things. Energy Mastery. So I've gotten the conserve power. And I'm also going to be taking Physical Perfection next. And I think Laser Beam Eyes, just because I thought it'd be kind of cool. I have found, again, I'm trying to keep a cadence. I do pick up some endurance from my enemies, but when I hit them with these powers, because I have noticed, like, I'll hit someone with a chain induction, and I'll see my blue bar go down and then immediately goes right back up. Like faster than it would normally, because I suck some of the endurance out of the enemy. So that's pretty helpful. And but it's not something you can count on. So I do want to try and boost up my endurance as much as I can. Right now I've got my smashing resistance at 43%, fire at 21. Let's take a look at these. Because this character is going to be using both a combination of things. Damage resistance in the 40s for smashing and lethal. 20s for fire, cold, energy, and negative energy, and toxic, 0 for psionic. And then for defense right now, I've got 35, 34, and 35 for the positional, and that doesn't matter about what these are. So that's nice. And for my heals, I don't think I've done anything with heal except that, yeah, True Grit really boosts me up. I've got, my maximum hit points is over 2,000. 335 just from True Grit, so that's really, really good. I don't think that's the highest you can get, but it's pretty close. Pretty close. So what I want to do now is let's take Franken-Slacker out, and we can see what he can do in person, see how all these powers work out. So I'm going to get a radio mission, and I will be right back. Okay, we were just entered the map. We have a mission to fight, defeat Mechanic and his guards. It's all freak show. Turn these things off. I'm gonna leave sprint on for a little bit. All right, I've got this thing is even level. I haven't boosted up. It's +0 times 0, or really times 1. Okay, so I got all my powers turned on. Let me get my click active defense. That'll be good for 2 minutes. And let's start off with a shield charge, and you put a little thing right where you want to go. Nice. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and use lightning rod. The guy's still alive. I'll use my thunder strike. Nice. And they're dead. So it's really strong. Got me a tip. All right, so let's see. Now the problem is these things take a long time to recharge. So I am going to have to do boost up my recharge in here. Let's use my chain attack. Okay, there we go. Got all 3 of them. Chain shock, that's good. Thunder strike does come up okay. Nice. Jacob's ladder. Here we go. Let's do a chain again. Got him. Havoc punch. There we go. Okay, now this time we're going to start off with Thunder Strike. Let's do our chain attack. Didn't get this guy. Let me show you how this. Turn off sprint. Let me show you how. Oh, he's on my mark. Let me show you how the Jacob's ladder works and how it doesn't really get everyone. Let's see if I can get it more than one. Oh, I got this guy, but not this. I missed that one. Okay. We got somebody. Animation didn't play. Jacob's ladder. Oh, my powers come back up. See, he got me. Darn it. And what happens when he stunned me, because I didn't put up his power by active defense fast enough, the only thing that goes off is my against all odds. It used to be that everything would go off, which was a hassle. That was back when the game was live. When you got stunned, you lost all your toggles. Let's start off with just lightning rod. You can use that to teleport elsewhere, I think. No, let's try that. You have to put that little circle on the ground, so yeah, I think so. Wait for it to come up again, and we'll give that a shot and see how far we can go with it. One thing I've been using is I've got Sands of Mu, and sometimes I just use that just to push them off. All right, let's. No, shield charge. You can stay in the same spot you're in, or you can, of course, charge. I'm not sure about the lightning rod. Let's give that a try. Finish some of these guys off first. Thunder strike. See, this guy was too far away. Let's do the chain. Got all 3 of them. Biggest ladder. Yeah, I've run out of powers to use. Chain. Got them both. So this guy's completely out of endurance. No, they got 1 point, so he's ready to fight me again. I'm gonna taunt them. Let's see if how the lightning rod goes anywhere. All right, they kind of teleported me over there. I'm getting some good tips too. That'll be nice. All right, a couple of yellow. Let's do our shield charge. Right in the middle of them. And Thunder Strike. The chain. Got all three of them. Taking Ladder, which is a bit of a disappointment in terms of cone. See if Chain will hit this guy. Yeah, Chain actually went behind me and caught this guy. All right, so that is the power set. It's really useful. Oh, and my power came up again. Click on that. And what I'll do when I get a little higher level is I'll start doing higher groups of enemies. Just so I'll have a lot of enemies just to kill a bunch at the same time like I was doing with Phesees. Alrighty, let's see. I don't think this mission is going to be very long, but we'll see. And again, look at the XP I'm getting. 5,500 points. Holy cow, 600 points for those low-level guys. I got 6,000 for the yellows, 4,000 to 5,000 for the whites. So very nice, very nice. Talk these guys to get them nice and close. Thunder Strike them. Chain them. I notice my health is not really taking a beating here. Let's see if this will hit both of them. No, see, you missed that guy. Now, of course, these are even level guys. As a tank, I should be able to handle these dudes. That guy came back again. All right, I'm gonna watch the shield charge. Sometimes you just want to use shield charge right when you're at. That works too. Up, my power's back up. So you use these to run, or you can use those just where you're standing. Aha, mechanic. Let's get this guy over here. I want to use my lightning rod. Nice. Thunder Strike. Nice. Chaining. Oh, it's been done already. Now, if my endurance goes too low, I've got to conserve energy, which helps out as well. There we go. And I got a recipe for that. Not very good. 62,000 experience points just for doing that mission. And Mechanic gave me 16,000 experience. So, I'm level 40. I did an even level solo radio mission. I got 1.5 bars off of that. That's great. That's great. So you will level up really fast on Unity server. So that is it. Go ahead and exit out of here. That's the power of a shield defense electric tanker. I'm enjoying him now that he's a higher level. Early on, he's a little tougher to fight. I only had these 3 attack powers with plus brawl and then my Sands of Mu. And his defenses and resistance were fairly low. So, but even so, at 6 times XP, I still moved up pretty quick. It wasn't like a slog. But yeah, now he's really coming into his own, so it's really quite a bit of fun. So until next time, this is Greg 29407 saying arrivederci, and we will see you next time.